So here we are. The 1027 event is now over, and we have a lot to talk about today. Uh, Anyone who listened to my Jetfire segment a few days ago saw how I kind of teased at what was going on and what was going to be coming, how commander classes are going to be given some bells and whistles and going to be sold for a Titan class price point. And we're going to talk about that here today. And people should have felt it already at the beginning of the segment. When they did this 1020 segment, they had G.I. Joe, Ghostbusters, D&D, starting lineup, Avalon Hill, Magic the Gathering, Marvel, Power Rangers, Star Wars, and of course our beloved Transformers. And if they noticed, a lot of the stuff that they were talking about was leaning into high-end stuff. Oh, high-end Haslab, high-end, role-play items. A lot of Haslab stuff that might not even get backed ultimately in the end, whether it be the Marvel stuff or the Avalon Hill one. Both of those are looking pretty bad right now. But the Ghostbuster one was good, but some of the other stuff, the Magic the Gathering Gauntlet, that's a high-end item that isn't Haslab. I don't think that's going to find a market, I'll be honest with you, knowing the Haslab, not knowing the Magic the Gathering community. But it is what it is. But everyone should have known that the item that they were going to talk about today is, of course, our next Haslab item. And what was that Haslab item? Why, we got Victory Saber, we got Star Saber and Victory Leo. We have our leader characters from Transformers Victory, so you need to have the villain. And they revealed today, of course, the Star Saber villain himself, the rival, the Emperor of Destruction, Deathsaurus. And you know what? Again, I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks amazing. I love the way it's depicted. I love the extras that it comes with. It's something that I would die to have. But it's the pricing that still to this day bothers me. It's the same thing when you look at the other Haslab items and the problems that Hasbro has been having in recent, past literally Q2 and Q3 of 2022. And that is, they're really raising the prices on their items to make up for a lot of stock issues that they have been having. Their Q3s have been slipping. They got a new CEO that has to prove himself. And investors are not feeling it. And the investors, in all honesty, almost decide the fate of these CEOs in a lot of ways. So it's not just Transformers. They're trying to raise the bar and raise the capital for every single one of their brands with these big items aimed at whale consumers. And it's something where you have a character like Deathsaurus. Let's ignore that, his rival counterpart was a Haslab item and you want to have that synergy and mirror kind of thing. Let's ignore that. Deathsaurus could have been a commander class figure. Deathsaurus could have been sold as a commander class. But the thing is that what is now commander class is starting to shrink, is starting to get, expensive for Hasbro. And when I mean expensive, I mean they could still make profit, but they want to widen that profit gap as much as possible. And we have a product here today that is Deathsaurus, that looks amazing, but that also has an entry cost of $179.99, which is $20 shy of what our brand new commander class, our brand new Titan class price point is going to be right now, with Metroplex coming out later this year. So it's something that you have to really think about in terms of the collectability of these items. There's a lot of FOMO going on. People who bought the Haslab Star Saber, Victory Leo are going to want to get this to have that, companion piece item. But it is going to be expensive. And the paywall stuff that exists and all that craziness. I mean, the base core item, you get Deathsaurus, you get his tail weapon that makes his shield, you get his two Bresto attack. I love how they call them Chest Eagle and Chest Lion. They don't want to say breast, but they could say chest. You get that. That's the core stuff, essentially, with his sword and everything. And that's going to be the $179.99 core thing. And then there's the incentive of you got to pay more to get more. So at the core of itself, like they're going, okay, so it's 11,000 units have to be moved essentially just to make that core thing happen. And we're talking, let's just say $180 flat. So already almost $2 million has to be gathered just to make Deathsaurus happen. And then in order to make the other stuff happen, we have to get to the 14,000 backers, which would give you the living death metal cannon, which eats away at the metal components and almost killed Starsaber, which then led to, the beginning of the Victory Leo Operation Combination Project and Project V and all of that. So there's the whole cool story involved with it. And of course you get the flail, which really should come standard with, again, Deathsaurus. But sure, he comes with his flail also. And then he comes with some Omega Supreme blast effects that have just been recolored this time around. So the blast effects aren't really anything new. You get 2 sets of Omega Supreme blast effects, a.k.a. Jetfire blast effects. Actually, I think they're the Jetfire ones more so. But point is that you get those 2. Those aren't brand new sculpted blast effects. They're just repaints. So you get that, and that one is at that 14,000 level. So they need an extra 3,000, aka they need an extra $500,000, 45,000 pretty much. They need $500,000 to make those ones happen. And then again, add another 3,000 to that one at the 17,000. Well, you get something that I guarantee people are going to keep in the box, which is a stand and a throne. And not too long ago, we got a Transformers item that came with a throne that was in the leader class price point, and that was our Studio Series 86 Starscream. So it's something where they're really trying to figure out a way to put out Commander class price product and get you to pay Titan class prices, because they want to bump those sales. They want to make that and again, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I think this looks amazing. I love Transformers Victory. I can't stress enough. I'm going to post the image again. Back in frickin' high school in the late 90s, I bought a mint-in-box Starsaber with the money I made from telemarketing. One of my first jobs I ever had. That's how much I love that brand of Transformers. Don't get me wrong. But the other side of me goes, man, they're really kind of taking people to task here. They're really making sure that they could bleed as much blood out of that rock as possible for people. And that's a shame. I could afford this. I don't have money problems that I can't afford this. So it's not even a matter of that. It just bothers me that it looks like this is what we're seeing right now, where the attempt is that we got to pretty much pull as much as we can from our fans. And it really has to do not with this is how much the product costs and this is how much we have to charge. It is, multi-billion-dollar companies don't need fans to back their items. We're pretty much giving them, again, at the end of the day, we're going to be giving them a $4 million loan that they're going to sit on and make profit off of in their own banking system. And then they're going to put the product together. I already speculate, and I want to go off on a tangent here, but I think that a lot of that Marvel Legends drama that's happening with that Ghost Rider thing, I think that thing is going to get backed even if it doesn't happen. Even if it doesn't reach the numbers, they might even still back it, because even at 50% of the backer cost, they could still manufacture it and turn a profit. That's how much the profit numbers are here. Again, when you talk with guys who manufacture toys from the industry, you know who, you kind of see what's behind the curtain, realize just how big the numbers are here. And the numbers don't make sense with this one. It's just way too much. And they're and it's them going, if we put a throne included with it, that could kind of, distract from things. And it's nuts. Anyways, getting into the deep specifics of it, Hasashi Yuki was the one who designed this, so that's still pretty cool. Hasashi Yuki designed the Haslab Victory Saber, and of course, if you look at his history, Hasashi Yuki, he's been within Takara for many years. He did Lio Convoy from Beast Wars 2nd back in the day. He did Big Convoy with Beast Wars Neo back in the day. He did Fire Convoy, God Magnus, God Fire Convoy. He did the leaders for Car Robots, Robots in Disguise back then. He did Starsaber for Masterpiece and Megatron for Masterpiece back then. Even in Transformers Legends, in recent stuff, he did Super Ginrai. He did God Bomber. He did Big Powered, which is Diatlas, Sonic Bomber, and Roadfire. He's the leader design character of the Japanese stuff of the brand. So it's perfect for him to come in and do Deathsaurus. But that being said, all of that stuff combined, it's still a very expensive item for what you're getting. And the argument that I was hearing from other people as well, there's third-party Deathsauruses, and those ones are almost through. I don't even want to have the third-party discussion, because I've always felt that the third-party world has always been very overpriced to begin with. I literally did a TFCon exclusive that cost $10 Canadian. What is that, like $3 American? I'm just joking. It's like $7 American, to show people how manufacturing costs work. I could have easily asked $20 for that item. Could have easily asked $20 for that item, or $30 or $40. But I wanted to show people just how easy manufacturing costs really are, and how cheap it really is, and how much profit is really made. And I just wanted people to get the hands on the product. But it shows at the end of the day that this is crazy. They're asking way too much, and it's a shame. It's a shame, because guys like me could afford it, but there's a lot of people who are fans of Transformers Victory that have been lifelong fans of the brand, people that I know who are other content creators who don't have a lot of money, who really are lucky to be able to buy a Deluxe or a Voyager once a month, and it's going to be tough for them. It's a huge pill for them to swallow, and you know how this is going to be. If you don't pick this up, the secondary market for this is going to be crazy, because anyone who did invest in it, who's going to try to flip it, is not going to want to lose money on it. So they're going to obviously put it up at a number that they're never going to lose. Even if they put it on eBay and they break even, they're going to lose money in their fees and everything, so they don't want to do that, so they're going to have to mark it up. So in the end, if you don't get on it during its Haslab release, you're just going to pay for it later in a much more painful way, much like how everyone who regretted not picking up the Haslab Unicron all these years later. I mean, I still see posts on all the different message boards and everything of guys going, look, anyone selling a Haslab Unicron for $1,000, I'll pay $1,000. Like, there's desperation. And if you're someone who, wants to collect them all and have the mirror product to your Victory Saber, this is going to be one of those things. Either way, that's my 2 cents on it. Again, I think it looks really cool. I think it looks fantastic. I love the way that they managed to work out doing the bow accessory with I guess, I'm going to call it its Japanese names, because that's what I've called it literally for almost 30 years now. But, lion breast, as they call it here, or chest lion and chest eagle. I love how they're able to do the bow weapon. That was something that was always an animation exclusive kind of thing in the show. The original toys couldn't do that. I love that it comes with, again, some animation exclusive weapons like the living metal gun. There's so many different things going on here that I really enjoy. It looks fantastic. The sculpting is fantastic. It is a beautiful representation of that character from the original show. And I mean, let's be real, Deathsaurus is like one of the most powerful Decepticons of all time, and that final battle between him and Starsaber is one of the most gruesome, most amazing fights in all of Transformer history. So if you're someone who has a huge nostalgia for it like I do, I absolutely love this. But the pricing, that's where I'm a little disgusted, and I feel sorry for so many Transformer fans who are not able to participate in this. In the same way, look, to give an example, what other pre-orders dropped this very day also? The Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Autobot Walgreens exclusive Minerva also dropped. That is also available to premium members only right now for $24.99 on the Hasbro Pulse website. I want people to be able to get a Minerva product so they don't have to spend thousands of dollars on an old G1 toy, so that they could still engage with the character and be able to own a version of the character in their display and not have to take out a mortgage in order to do so, or take out a loan. And that's what has always been important to me, is for fans to be able to engage with those characters and with those products, to have it in their shelves, to take their photography, to do their displays, to have a good time. And when I see stuff like this, where they're really price walling out a huge section of the Transformers fandom, especially when it's product that could have been retail and cheaper, I don't know, man, that doesn't sit well with me. I've always been a guy that praised Hasbro when they did really cool stuff, but when they do stuff like this, it just makes me shake my head sometimes. But Hasbro's a weird company. It's been a weird company over the past couple of months. They've been laying off people that have been with that company for decades, just for no reasons whatsoever, except to, well, we've been paying this guy really good for many years, and we need to keep those Q4 to Q1 2023 stock numbers up. It's easy to get rid of a guy, and, well, again, you know who I talk to. you know the people who I talk to behind the scenes, and they're very open about the things they talk about, both current and former from the Hasbro world. And the truth hurts sometimes. And again, this Deathsaurus, absolutely awesome item. Really cool. Love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it looks great. It's something that I'm definitely going to want to pick up. But that price, I'm not feeling that, man. That's disgusting. Let me know what you think. It's just your 2 cents. It's my 2 cents. You don't have to take my word for it as something that's like, gospel, but it's just my take and from my experience with this. And as of this recording, and of course that changes every second, of the 11,000 that is needed, it already has 2,200 backers. Obviously, that's going to be changing every second that you're listening to this segment, but I'm really curious to see how far this one goes, because the reality is that if Hasbro sees that they could make money from this, if Hasbro sees that people are willing to pay for this, the sky's the limit when it comes to those dollar signs, and that's always the scary thing. Let me know what you think, guys, and I'll talk to you again